Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is Terry O'Donnell with Yellow Brick Road Coaching, and today I want to talk to you about how often are we afraid and we don't even realize it. I was recently returned from a biking river cruise, which was awesome. However, before the cruise even got started, I was already a little bit in a panic because my husband is really the cyclist and I am just there along for the ride. And we made sure I rented a e-bike, which is called an electronic bike, which is like power assist. So you still have to pedal, you still have to do work, but it makes it a whole lot easier going up hills and so forth. Well, it was really tough because when the information arrived about the river cruise and I started reading through it, I was totally starting to wig out, totally fearful as to whether or not I would be able to keep up. How would people feel about me being on an e-bike? How old was I compared to the other bikers? I'm an enthusiast, not, a hobbyist for biking. So there was a whole lot of things going on in my head. And, when we get afraid, when fear starts to take over, sometimes we actually blame other people for what we think is about them, but it's really oftentimes us not owning our own stuff. So I was busy pointing the finger at my husband, not to him telling him, but just saying like, oh, I got into this, I can't believe this, blah, blah, blah. Or when the information showed up, I'm like, oh, I can't believe this. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about? You've all had that experience where the fear takes over. You're not sure you're capable. You don't think you can do it. You don't know if you got the confidence for it. Why did you say yes to this to begin with, right? Well, I had a real talking with my inner being, with my authentic self before the trip. And what really I started to notice was that fear was showing up, but I got to choose whether or not I wanted to really buy into the fear. So I decided to create something completely different before I went on that trip. So I did a little meditation. I did a little really going within. I also did a lot of appreciating as to what I loved about the river cruise, my first river cruise. And now this one was going to be a biking one. So what could I expect there? I know how to bike ride. I've done numerous bike rides. Now, granted, I've never done 7 days in a row with averaging 18 miles a day. I've never done that. But guess what? I'm on the other side of this now. I did it. It was awesome. And we're signed up for next year for another place. But my point to this is if I'd have let myself buy into that fear, if I would have bought into the stinkin thinking I had going on in my own head, I might have canceled that trip. I might have looked for ways to cancel that trip, but I didn't. And I really decided I'm going to create something different before I even go. So I sat with myself and I really had a talking with myself. And I started to appreciate my body, the bike I was going to be on, the different views that I would be on, that I would be in the back roads of France along the Seine, biking? Really? Wow. So I really started to give myself a whole lot more credit, started to see myself really being able to thrive. I started seeing us making new friends, having fun, enjoying, the wine, the food, the coffee, all parts, all aspects of it. And I've got to tell you, by doing that, I created one of the best vacations for myself ever. You see, we have this thing called an imagination, and we use it beautifully when it comes to trying to figure out the worst case scenario. What could possibly go wrong? But we don't always connect the dots that we can also imagine the best, healthiest, vital, authentic, genuine, awesome part of ourselves and what it could lead to, right? So that's my challenge for you. If you're fearful, know that negativity, it is negativity, right? You see it, you feel it. Some of us really take it on in amazing ways, right? We start to eat because that'll provide some comfort. We start to drink because that'll provide some comfort. Whatever it is we do to escape that fear. But when we lean in and we show up as our authentic, highest version of ourselves, all things are possible. All things are possible. So, what could you imagine? What challenge do you have before you that has you fearful? Whether it's a job interview, imagine yourself having an interview. Imagine the entire scenario. Imagine the questions they're going to ask. And imagine the best case scenario for yourself. Imagine you being prepared. See yourself confident. Or maybe you have something else that's going on that you're fearful of. I don't know, maybe you're fearful of dating again. See yourself, having a date, the conversation, how it might go, how wonderful it might go, how you might actually connect with this other person, whatever that might be. So whatever you have that's a fear in your life, simply challenge yourself a little bit and get into a space of going inward and start envisioning, imagining, dreaming what really is possible for yourself. You'll be blown away too, I'm sure.